Through the tulips with me.
Hello, I'm Sexy Danny 21 Awesome. I'm here today with JTISREBORN. Today we are reviewing Insidious Chapter 3, the third film in the series. So let's start off with JTISREBORN. What did you think of Insidious Chapter 3?
You know, I've been really thinking about this a lot. Like, I honestly, have trouble knowing how I feel about Insidious Chapter 3. I don't know if it's better or worse than the second movie. It's definitely not as good as the first one. It's kind of like, I didn't leave the movie angry, but I really kind of just left the movie kind of just, no real impact like I did the first movie. It's a really weird movie because I don't know how to feel about it because it's not a bad movie by any means. Like, it's not bad, but it's not incredible or great like the first one was.
Yeah.
I have just kind of a mixed reaction to Insidious Chapter 3. There's things I liked about it. Lin Shaye was great as Elise. She steals the show. She's the best thing in the movie by far. And the part where she talks to that the creepy old woman man, just come here, bitch. That alone made me clap. But I don't find the new characters as interesting as the Lambert family.
Yeah.
The girl, she did fine. The dad was kind of funny with his whoop-ass face.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know really how much I'd feel about this one. I feel like it needs more Darth Maul.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they kind of went off with Darth Maul, and they brought Dr. Satan from Devil's Rejects in here. So this is his spin-off movie, because he did his own movie, right? So this is Dr. Satan. I mean, the dude looks exactly like Dr. Satan. If you watch Devil's Rejects, anybody who owns Devil's Rejects, go to the deleted scenes, watch this scene with Dr. Satan in the hospital. He looks exactly like.
What do they call it? What do they call this demon? Mask face?
Yeah.
Or mask head? I said, the man who breathes, who can't breathe or whatever.
Yeah, let's give him a clue now. Let's call him Dr. Satan because we call the other guy Darth Maul. So.
Okay, well Darth Maul is a little more obvious. So.
Well, okay. First of all, I would say this movie is a good movie, like you said, but it's not as scary as the first two movies. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a scary movie by any means. I didn't find it, the new demon, the new demon wasn't scary. There's no, intimidating factor. With Darth Maul, Darth Maul,
How about the fact that they market the entire movie to have the Darth Maul demon in it, and he's, only, at the very end of the film?
Yeah, I was disappointed. There was actually two entities at the end of the film, not just Darth Maul. Because, the creepiest part, I think, is the very end of the movie. She's, her dog is barking, you look off something, you see this, white masked face.
Is this after the credits?
No, this is, during the movie. At the very end of the movie, you know how spoiler alert, people, you know how Darth Maul kind of shows up? Yeah. He's when she's looking, you see almost one of those, white face masks that someone's wearing. It's I couldn't describe it. I'm huh? What the heck is that over there? And then Darth Maul shows up. Darth Maul, we need more Darth Maul.
He needs his own movie.
He does. He's actually, I think he's called Lipstick Face, but we'll just call him Darth Maul.
I hope Insidious Chapter 4 is just about Darth Maul, because they're just teasing Darth Maul. Let's actually get Darth Maul.
Yeah, we had the original, we had a prequel and a sequel, and we need one that wraps up the whole story now. I think 4 should be it for the Insidious films.
And it should concentrate directly on Darth Maul.
Yes. I want to see. This is what I want to see. This is my dream ending for the movie. Same with the Paranormal Activity series. I just want Chuck Norris to come in, roundhouse kick all the demons, and then just end it there.
You want Chuck Norris to be the star of the movie?
I do. I want Chuck Norris to come in there and just a surprise ending.
Beat the shit out of the Darth Maul guy.
Oh, hell yeah. I want to see some of these demons get their ass kicked. That's why Army of Darkness and like Evil Dead are like my favorite movies because like horror movies at least. Because like Ash just kicks like the evil's ass, you know what I mean? He's like the only character I can think of that just outright just kicks demons' ass and he's like an asshole to them too. Swallow this, bitch. This is my like you know what I mean? Can you think of any other character who does what Ash does to demons and that?
Yeah.
Like I said, like there's probably some, but like no one to the effect of Ash.
Oh,
This
I'm sure there's other ones that people can name, but like he is
I
one of the most iconic demon kicking ass people ever.
Ash vs Evil Dead. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a good TV series. Now, I gotta say, we have a different director, of course, on this movie than the first movie.
Lei Whannell, who plays like Specs or Tucker.
Yeah.
He's one of the two.
I mean, he did. You can give him credit because he did. I believe he wrote the first two movies and he wrote this one. But at the same time, like it feels a little bit different because he's directing it now, and it's not being directed by the original director.
James Wan.
Yeah, it's James Wan. And like James Wan gave it kind of like his own touch. I think James Wan probably gave him tips on like how to make the movie more scary. And like he doesn't have James Wan to be like, hey, we should do it like this because it won't be.
Yeah, because like James Wan and him were like a dynamic duo. He was the writer and Wan was the director.
And now James Wan is just the producer, and that's I think.
And he's an actor too in the movie. Don't forget that.
He is.
Yeah, he was the cameo. Remember the theater scene? He's the director. He was just like, go ahead, try it again.
Oh, that was him. Oh.
Yeah, that was him. I was like, oh, it's James Wan.
Yeah, well, I think like is he going to be more involved in the fourth movie? Do you think?
Yeah, they haven't announced a fourth movie, but it's pretty apparent they're going to do one. I mean, these movies are made for low budgets, so we can expect a fourth one. I mean, this one's not making as much noise because, like, this movie shouldn't be released in the summer, in my eyes. It should be like a fall movie. You know what I mean? Like October around Halloween time, kind of like Saw. But like, if they do a fourth one, I want it to be the last one. I don't want the series to drag on and go into Paranormal Activity. You know what I mean? I want it to wrap up the story completely, leave you on a good, happy note ending, not like some bullshit.
You know, the nice thing about the second movie was it expanded it, and like this movie is just like, oh my god, well, like what's the point of this? Like this is like a movie you watch and like, this is a pretty good movie, but what does it add to the series? Where the second film really added to the first one.
Yeah, like that time, like going back in time.
Yeah, and like this.
Back to the Future 2, as I like to call it.
This is basically the third movie without a time machine. You know what I mean? It's just a straight up prequel, right?
Yeah. It doesn't add anything new.
I mean, that's fine, but like at the same time, were you watching this movie kind of like thinking, okay, this character's not going to die yet because I know she doesn't die until, this and that, right?
Yes, there's no suspense.
And that takes away the horror. That's the problem with horror prequels, because you can kind of know who's going to die and who's not going to die. But sometimes people do horror prequels right. I mean, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror prequel, I thought was done right because there were characters and you didn't know how they were going to die. Where in this one, you're like, okay, I know how she dies. And they're like foreshadowing it for you in the movie.
Yeah, they foreshadow, like that thing where she's just like the old man. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, the woman, the black dress demon.
And that, I think that's stupid, because what if you wanted to watch this in order? That would ruin the suspense that she died in the sequel.
Well, you're of course going to watch it in order, like, it's like the Star Wars prequels. I mean, it's cool to see, kind of, but at the end of the day, there's no real, like, suspense involved. That's why I'm not too much a fan of prequels, per se, unless it's, like, elements of it are a prequel. You know what I mean?
Watch the prequels before, like, the other movies, you know what I mean? No? So it depends on the person, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, like, this one, it just doesn't add anything new to the, like, the second one had the time travel bit. I like when they do go into the further, but, like, the thing that I like the most about it, this movie, like, was Lin Shaye. Lin Shaye going in there and, like, beating the shit out of a old man, woman, demon. You know what I mean?
And the demons in this movie were not as threatening as one and two.
Oh yeah, this demon, like, he doesn't do anything. He just, like, he's like at one point he's like holding the girl and he's just like, oh,
He's just
oh,
like, it's okay. It's
it's
okay.
okay. I'm like,
It's okay.
whereas Darth Maul was like, yeah.
Yeah, you thought that some shit was going down with Darth Maul, and you and that crazy, man lady, like, was crazy as hell, right? Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this movie, it's just like, come on. I mean, the movie did almost make me cry, I admit that. But it didn't make me scared as the first two. Like, it might have made me almost cry, and that's something.
What did you almost cry at?
Well, like, there was that scene where she was talking about her dead mom, and I was like, oh, shit, this is sad. I was... And then I'm like, I'm not going to cry. And then I was like...
Yeah, this one kind of plays it safe. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It's like when you play kind of like, this is just a random comparison, like the Arkham games, when you go from City to, like, Origins.
Yeah.
Origins, like, it's not a bad game, but it's like, it plays it safe. I mean, it's still a good game,
Yeah.
but it plays it safe and adds nothing new.
Yeah.
That's what Insidious Chapter 3 feels like. And it's a prequel, too.
No more prequels, okay? We're talking to the director right now. No more prequels. Don't you make the second one a prequel. I swear.
Or
if the
fourth one.
The prequel, I will be pissed. No more prequels. Okay?
Add something new.
I don't know why everybody's doing a prequel now. Doesn't it feel like everything is a prequel? Like The Conjuring, Annabelle. Okay, like, that's okay, but no more prequels. Don't do any more.
Yeah, because it's just like, I can understand flashbacks.
Yeah.
Flashbacks are fine. In, like, elements that show, like, things
There
before.
wasn't a single flashback in this movie. That's really pissed me off, because, like, the first two, they had these awesome flashback things.
This was the flashback. The whole movie was.
Yeah, but they could have made flashbacks before the first movie, though. You know what I mean? Like, they could have showed, like in the second movie, they showed her as a young woman, and I thought that was so interesting. And I was like, why couldn't they have more of that in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, like, there's so many things they could have explored, and they just went this route. Like, they didn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what year do you think this movie takes place in?
I think they said, like, 5 years before, like, the Lambert family. So, like, when did that start? Like, 2012? Or something like that? 2011? So, like, 2005, roughly, I want to say. 2005 to 2007.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was an alright movie, but, like, I think that they could have did a lot more. But, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been a lot more scary. Like, what would you rate this movie out of 10?
I don't know. I really don't.
Gotta give it a rating. Gotta say no.
7?
I'm going 7 on this too.
Yeah.
And you know me, because I'm very generous when I give reviews.
Oh, you're more than generous, Mr. 10 out of 10.
Well, it depends if a movie gets me. And you know I gave the first two a 10 out of 10, and I gave this one a 7. So, you know it's not as scary as the first two, because I'm giving them a 7. And the first two scared the crap out of me. I don't know how many times it jumped during the first two movies.
First one was really scary. The second one to me wasn't as scary. So.
Well, the second one to me was very, very scary, personally. And the third one, you know, it was weird because I was checking out the audience's reactions to the movie, right? And when I stepped outside of Insidious 3, I was looking at everybody that saw the movie, and they were talking to each other, and there was this guy, and he was like, oh man, that movie sucked, it wasn't scary at all, like the first two were so scary. And I was like, oh my god, like, people hate this movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when I stepped out of the second movie, and, because I saw the second one in the theater, everybody was like, that was the scariest movie I've seen in like the longest time. That scared the crap out of me. So going from that to people saying it wasn't scary was kind of like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of wish that the audience would like it. Like, I thought it was okay, but I wouldn't say that it wasn't scary at all. But, like, at the same time, I can agree with people complaining about it. I can see what they didn't like about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because they felt like it didn't add anything new. And to me, I think it should have added more layers to it. It should be like an onion. Like, you're peeling back the onion, you're getting more of the movie. Like, you don't want to see the same thing. You want something different.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And, I mean, hopefully in the fourth movie, it is directed by the same director, who is an all-right director.
it's his first movie he's directed, so...
Didn't he also...
No, Leigh Whannell has never directed. This is his directorial debut.
He writes a lot of stuff, though, right?
Yeah, he's the writer.
Yeah, and he was involved with Sinister also, right? I believe.
I think so. Sinister too. I mean, yeah, let's see how that one turns out.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of the first Sinister.
I thought it was alright. I mean, I've been looking for another movie to, like, get to me like the first Insidious did.
And I don't know what it was, but, like, he wrote the first two movies, and I almost felt like he, like, worked harder on the scripts, because the first two movies were so in-depth, you know what I mean? Like, they were, like, there were so many good scenes in it, and, like, the third movie was a good film, but it didn't have those really scary moments, and it didn't feel...
There's only one good scare, and that's kind of like at the very end of the movie. Which is like in the second movie. The second movie, the creepiest part of the movie is like what you don't see. Like, she just looks up, just like, oh my god, like, what is it? And then it cuts to black.
The first two movies are so random. Like, the scares are so random, and you never know when they're going to come at you. And in this movie, like, after you get through, like, the first half, you're just kind of like, okay, I know where the scares are coming now. I've seen, you know, where this is going. And it kind of goes back to that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're always good. Did you notice that the hallway in the movie was paying homage to The Shining? They used the same rug from The Shining. Did you notice that? I noticed that.
Yeah.
I think the director likes Kubrick. That's what I think. But it was like so random. It was like, I was like, oh, that's The Shining rug. Okay, why is it? I guess it was an homage, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the elevator kind of reminded me of The Shining too, but without the blood and everything. But, you know, like the random, you know, tortured girl that's all like, you know, wet ghost girl, what did you think of her? Like, I thought the most lame ghost in the movie was the one without eyes, because you could tell the CGI. You know what I mean? Like, why are they using CGI in Insidious? That was the scariest thing about the first two movies. There was no CGI, it's all practical effects.
Or at least there's minimal.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell where the CGI was in the first two films. Where in this movie, you're like, oh god, there's a girl with no eyes, and it almost felt like, you almost feel like they were kind of ripping off Silent Hill or something.
I got that Silent Hill vibe too.
Yeah, I was like, they're totally ripping on Silent Hill without the girl without eyes.
Well, it's the closest thing we'll get to Silent Hills. Buried.
Oh, so anyways,
Okay, there's one thing I wanted to... There's one thing I did like. It was cool how she met the two, like, Specs and Tucker guys. They just kind of stick around, and they're, like, these online people.
that was kind of like the heart of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, those elements were good. It's just... Prequels, to me, like I said, like you said, there's, like, no real intensity. That's why the Hobbit movies kind of... Like, I don't really like the Hobbit movies that much, because they just... It's like... I could... Maybe, like, part 1 and 2... There should have been, like, an epilogue or something, because it just... Those movies just dragged on. Like, it didn't need to be...
I really enjoyed all of them, and I thought they were really good, but, like...
No suspense. You know everything. That's the thing with prequels.
There was a lot of things I didn't know, because I didn't actually read the book.
But you know what I mean? You know the end game. The end game is there.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how it was going to end, because I only read half the book, so...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take the shortest book and turn it into 3 movies. That's ridiculous to me.
Well, you know, there was other things that they took.
It was money. It was a cash
there
grab.
was the back of Lord of the Rings, and they took that, and...
But they didn't have an epilogue or anything. Whatever, we're getting off topic. That's another discussion.
Well, see, Lord of the Rings was cool, though, because, like, they had it all planned out. Like, there was a place it was going. Like, this movie just felt like, okay, I kind of know exactly what's going on here. You know what I mean? Like, don't you wish that there was some kind of something different, you know what I mean, that they could have added? like something like I think the main horror character in this should have been Darth Maul because they marketed it like it was Darth Maul, which pissed me off. Did that not piss you off?
Yeah, like I tried to avoid all the trailers and stuff for this movie because I didn't really want to like have my hopes set high. I kind of want to go in like surprised. That's the thing the first Insidious did to me. It caught me off guard and it like actually scared me in the theaters for some. Like I jumped a lot. Second one I didn't really. I was a little too antsy, but like wasn't really scared. Third movie, not scared at all. I mean the last jump was just like oh, and that's about it. But anyway, 7 out of 10 for me. I don't really.
10 for me too.
I don't know what else to really add to this. I mean,
let's hope that the fourth movie will be more scary.
And I want it to be the final one. It's just call it Insidious, the final chapter.
And absolutely have Darth Maul in it because
Darth Maul's the star.
Yeah.
Put it in writing. Finish off your story. Make it a good ending. No cheap sequel setups.
Bring back the original characters from the first movie.
Yeah, because they're way more interesting and better actors. I mean, the new actors weren't terrible, but like
the actress was really good. She was great.
But she's not as interesting as Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne and the kid who plays Dalton.
Yeah, I mean, she had her moment. Okay, now let's get back to the original cast. No more new casting situations, please. Let's get back to the original cast and bring that original vibe back.
Yep, let's finish off this story.
Yeah, so let's have a conclusion.
Yep. Alright, well, JTISREBORN, thank you all for watching.
And have an awesome night.